Hello, heart people. It is Monday, February 1st, 2021. For some reason, I always have um, challenges with remembering, not necessarily the date, because the date itself is actually on my computer, but the actual day of the week, because they all kind of blur together. I think I can ramble on about that. I think, like, mostly at this point, um, the way that I manage days of the week is like through appointments and things like that, especially around chemo. But anyway, I could talk about that some other time. So this is real time. I'm actually recording this and posting this real time because I'll explain a couple of things, I guess. One is I've been noticing that when I've been uploading for the last little while, YouTube has been taking the same resolution files and making them as though I've been, I guess, like 480p, which I guess makes sense. I don't really know the technicalities around it, but that's been really bothering me that there are these bars all of a sudden that are showing up in the videos that I've been uploading. And so I've been trying to figure out a fix around that, and I'm hoping this is actually a tech test using another camera, not the camera that comes with my MacBook. So hopefully this will solve some of those problems. You'll have better picture, even though you're looking at the same thing, which is me in this background. But yeah, it was something that's been bothering me and just been procrastinating figuring it out. And I think I finally have something here, and I have to use a different recorder and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a little bit more than I've been used to doing, but I think for the quality, for me, it's worthwhile to do it this way. So please bear with me as I figure that out, and I apologize for the delays. I mean, the delays just haven't been just about the tech stuff. I mean, even though that is a part of it, because just thinking about like things that I need to sort out just ended up being on the list of a number of things that I'm, wanting to get done at any given time. But I'm glad I've gotten it to this point where I think this is going to be at least what I'm going to be doing for the time being. Audio might be a bit of a challenge. I might have to connect an external microphone, which will give you some better sound. But again, it's just like one other kind of step, and do I want to do that step and all that kind of stuff? So I will keep you in the loop around that. So thank you so much for your patience with me. I also realized that I haven't uploaded any videos in the last couple of weeks. A couple of reasons for that. One, I actually thought that I had a bunch of videos that were queued up to go, and it turns out that I didn't go ahead and set them up properly. So after this video goes up, I will start uploading again. I'll have those three or a few that were in the queue, get them back in the queue so that they will start uploading. But again, like, it's back in December now, and I promise you, one of these days, I think it'll start catching up, especially since there are fewer videos that I've been recording in the last couple of months. So that's so at some point it'll happen. Again, thank you for your patience. And yeah, so I actually have cut my hair again. I don't know if it got to the point in the videos that I have posted so far that I've talked about that. I initially, from the haircut that I got once I was diagnosed, I mean, if you see my first video, you'll see how long my hair is. From there, I did want to chop it off just so that it would be, or to make it shorter, just so that it would be more manageable. And then with this particular chemo that I'm doing, apparently most people, it's a rare thing to lose hair, but that's something that sort of happened to me around the third cycle, and it is what it is. But I mean, it's an interesting kind of thing because I've probably lost about 70% of my hair, but I still have quite a bit of hair. And so for a while, like, I had like some length at the front, and kind of shaved the backs and stuff, and that was okay, except I was still losing clumps of like the longer pieces. So eventually, I think it was last week, shave more of it off. And I was going to come on camera today just with how it is, because I actually really am quite enjoying it. It's no muss, no fuss, and yeah, like it feels better to have done that. It's just that I woke up with some pretty crazy bedhead this morning, and I just can't seem to get like a few things under control. So I figured, hey, I'll throw on a baseball cap. And I'll be honest, I haven't thrown on a baseball cap since I've gotten any of my haircuts. So it's actually quite roomy up here, more than I'm used to it being. So that's a different thing. But that's what's going on for my hair, and eventually you'll start seeing me au naturel soon enough. And I, again, like, thank you everyone out there for all your continuing support. I get messages from all kinds of channels, and they're very appreciated. And to know that you have me in my thoughts, and you're also in mine, I believe that it's a really big part of um, what's happening for me and how I'm doing, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit. But I just also wanted to, it's a little bit of housekeeping, I guess. So thank you all so much for, again, like, keeping me in your thoughts, and all the love and care that I feel from all of you, even if I haven't been responsive, because there's been a lot that I've been thinking about and working through, and yeah, like it was a drastic sort of 180, and for a while it was a lot of appointments and diagnosis and treatment and this and that and everything else, and then come December, with the holidays, there was a little bit of a change in schedule, and throughout January, I think I've really just been sort of settling into this particular part of my journey, or in this journey, it feels like there's a lot of different chapters, and maybe in some ways the chapters are kind of like in cycles, in chemotherapy cycles to some extent. I don't know, I haven't really thought that out yet, but there's less disruption, there's less new things that are being introduced, and as things feel a little bit more not new all the time, I've just I've had the opportunity, I've had some time to be able to sort of like settle into sort of what my everyday could be like. So far, it feels like it's a week of dealing with chemotherapy, and a week of feeling relatively normal. It's been that way for the last, I would say, a month to 6 weeks. And just allowing myself to live that, or to get used to it, has been nice. But that's a lot of what's been going on for me. And I was also thinking about like recording these videos, and because, like I mentioned, in the last 6 weeks or so, 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, it's about right around before Christmas. I was just thinking, I can come on camera and kind of tell you how things are going, or how I'm feeling, and all that kind of stuff, but a little bit, I don't know, like repetitive, or because the lack of sort of like new things that were going on, I was just like, well, what would I talk about today, right? And so I think that I also have wanted to make sure that when it comes to what I want to do with this channel, and for me to share myself or who I am, it's not just about me having cancer, or me dealing with the stage 4 pancreatic cancer. It's also me, and who am I in all of this too, I think, or who am I that's experiencing all these things. And so if you've been following along, you'll know that I'm a baseball fan, so is my husband Joe. We have a lot of different kinds of interests, but I've been thinking about creating other kinds of content, and you may or may not be interested in it, but having Joe on with me, and maybe we'll talk about some of the things that are of interest to us, and maybe some reaction videos to certain things, probably particularly around like baseball and things like that. Just the reason I think is for us to be able to have share the experience together as we do it, and I think that that'll be a fun thing for both of us. But also hoping that that might resonate for some of you out there as well. And yeah, and I'm thinking of other things. I think that I've always had a creative streak, and I thought to myself, and maybe other people are similarly, but I've certainly found myself going, well, if I had more time, or if I didn't have any limitations or restrictions on what I can and can't do, I'd do all these things. And as it turns out, when those things are maybe not, when they're lifted, or like, yeah, like you actually have the opportunity to do it, you still have to get over your who you are, or the limitations that you might have put on yourself previously to actually do those things that you said that you would always want to do. So I'm now just in that place of like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and just getting that going for myself. And I think one of those things included creating different kinds of content that might not necessarily have to do with me talking about how I'm doing or my health status and that kind of thing. But with all that said, I wanted to actually also share some good news, cautiously good news, with all of you, which is that starting in late last year, so I would say December, early December, there were some blood markers. There was one blood marker, which is called the CA19-9, which I think is very specific to pancreatic cancer, that can show potentially that if there's movement in that number, that there is indications that there's response to treatment. So in other words, ever since I've been diagnosed in September, they initially took my CA19-9 number, and they've been following it every month or so ever since, just to see, and especially since I started after I started treatment, which would have been in late October, around Halloween. So when they initially measured it, or when it was initially measured in my blood, it was at 1500 plus. It was higher than 1500, and that's considered being in the abnormal range. The quote unquote not abnormal range is 34 and less. So it was very, very elevated. And then, but that probably also had to do with the jaundice that I was experiencing at the time, because that would also elevate CA19-9 number. And so as my jaundice decreased, that number went down to about 900 in probably over a month. And then right before I started treatment, chemotherapy treatment in October, it pushed up to about 1100. Really high numbers. But within a couple of months of starting chemotherapy, those numbers started to drop significantly. So over those 2 months, it came down to about 200. And by the time, and they were, by they, the oncologist, it showed up in my, I think I've talked about this, like you have, if you're through a lot of these hospitals now, if you find yourself in a situation like this, where you're having to be in hospital a lot, or to have interactions with the hospital a lot, all your records and notes and things like that, the folks in that particular medical team or the medical institution, they have these, they post everything, and you can have your results to everything, which could be a blessing and a curse, because you don't necessarily have context for everything. So I've been seeing this CA19-9 number didn't really want to look at it because I, kind of knew about sort of like what it could mean. But I was talking to one of my oncologists on the phone, and he was just like, he told me, it's like, look, we're really this is a this is a indication that you're responding to treatment. It is one potential indication that you're responding to treatment. And ultimately, um, what uh, what they also have to do is see a CT scan so that they can visually confirm that there has been some response to treatment. So, at the end of this, so that was optimistic. Again, cautiously optimistic. And at the end of December, I had a CT scan, and the results came back, and it again, cautiously optimistic. The spots that they found outside of the pancreas appears to have decreased um, quite significantly, some to the point where there was a couple of spots that were undetectable, and the pancreatic mass itself has not grown. So that in itself is cautiously optimistic that there is there's a response to treatment. And as of how I'm doing currently, I got my most recent CA 19-9 number this past week, and it's under 100. So it's gone from 1500 initially to 1100 when I started treatment to under 100 at this point. And like I mentioned, the baseline for what's considered to be not abnormal is a number of 34. So um, pretty, yeah, like feeling pretty good about that. But again, it has to be verified by also a CT scan, and to be able to see like what actually is happening or not happening. And my next CT scan is in a couple of weeks. So that's where I'm at, and so it's good news. It's good news that there hasn't been growth. There hasn't been a progression in the cancer itself. I'm feeling pretty good. Digestively, there are still sometimes some issues, but I haven't. My like the biggest, you know, the toughest thing about what's been going on is the fatigue that I feel post chemo. Today is day 3 of cycle 7, and day 1 I realized that I have there's three drugs that's part of my chemotherapy regimen, and the second one that they infuse, which is called the irinotecan, I don't think I do well with the irinotecan. They give me also I'm allergic to it, so they give me a shot to counteract the what happens like as a result of the allergic reaction that I have, and I feel pretty crappy for the rest of the day, like pretty crappy. But yesterday was a pretty good day. Of course, like I'm taking some heavy duty anti-nausea drugs and stuff like that, and today I'm feeling pretty good. But what's tricky for me, I find, is day 4, 5, and 6, and so we'll see about this week. But then by the time day 7 rolls around and next week, I know that I'm gonna have a few days where I'm feeling like relatively normal again, apart from maybe some digestive issues that I might have. So that's where I'm at currently. Just wanted to share what's been going on. I didn't come on the channel to share the results of the CT scan in December because I was really I didn't know how to feel or make of it. Like it was just sort of in a bit of a the only thing that felt clear for me was I'm glad that doing this chemo is having some kind of an impact, because there are times when it's been pretty challenging to be undergoing this process. So that's the only clear thing that I felt, because I also, feel like, okay, well, I don't really know what this means. It feels like it's a good thing, but I'm not 100% sure, and it's only also perhaps a matter of time before I stop, responding to treatment, and what happens after that. Like, there's just a lot to think about and a lot to process, and I didn't want to just be talking about it without I had a better sense of how I was feeling about it all. But and I didn't feel very settled with it, honestly, until I recently got the CA 19-9 results from the blood test that I took last week, which again, is a positive indicator, or seemingly a positive indicator. So anyway, I just did want to share that with you because it's important. It's an important thing to share. So that's the real-time update for again, like Monday, February the 1st. I'm waiting for the home care nurse to call me to disconnect me from this pump here, because that's it's pretty much done for today. And yeah, so that's what's going on. So thank you so much for your loving care. And please make sure to, and we're still in this pandemic world where things are upside down and tricky and tough and all that kind of stuff. So please take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and to even stop for a few moments, a few deep breaths, loving care. And I am sending my loving care to you, even if you haven't necessarily gotten some from me actively. I guess I've just been sort of in a bubble taking care of myself, but I am thinking about all of you and hope you're all taking good care. At any rate, thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you again real soon. And here's a chef's kiss, because I've been eating a lot the last month and a half, and really, really enjoying that process as well, even though, like I mentioned, I have some digestive discomfort as a result of maybe overdoing it sometimes. But this is the one time where I'm kind of feeling okay about some weight gain, because it allows, I think it allows my body to manage the chemo and stuff like that a little bit better. But anyway, that's where I am, and I will talk to you again real soon. Thanks.